Hello guys, my name is Amit Sani and I welcome you in this Hindu analysis of 22nd of July. In the morning these lessons come, in the evening the MCQ lessons come. So the facts, the important details and from various sources like PIB, The Hindu, Indian Express, we make questions in the evening and we discuss these things with much detail. So things are context based and they are taken from this newspaper also. So follow those lessons religiously and follow these lessons religiously. Many students had problems with some explanation. You see, one logic you need to understand here. Committed informations can be there in various forms and they are a lot in number. But some questions which are raised on some crucial points, if you think these things are problematic and if you think that those things are anti-government or something like that, then you should prove that with the points, because the kind of points we are making in the explanation, the points which these writers are making in these explanations, so these are problematic because these are not normal times. These are extremely different times than the past, and that's why these kind of informations are consistently coming. And I know since January when I joined here, the information has been coming in a very criticizing way, and The Hindu is actually very much intensive in this kind of reporting here, where they are revealing problematic issues, and most of the informations are in a way criticizing the government because some things it finds very, very problematic. So that's why it's also on the target, and this information has become like that. And you see, if they are raising questions, then we need to listen to these arguments. And important thing for you is argument. Argument is something that you should focus on. And one thing you must remember, you are not going to be an IAS officer with a committed mind. UPSC will never accept the committed minds there. And if you think that these things are anti-government, then you are wrong. It is not anti-government. It is actually anti to something that is problematic for the democratic principles. So they are against those things which are not up to the right on the basis of constitutional values or the democratic principles. If they are going to amend in the RTI provisions and they are going to weaken that institution, if they are demanding 75% share from the SEBI, if they are going for some bigger demand from the RBI shares, if they are going for changes in election funding, if they say that we do not want to tell you about the election funding, and they in a straight way say that we will not tell you about the election funding, who is giving us how much money, and the reality is that 90% funding is going to a particular party, then for sure these things are criticizing the government, because always a particular government is ruling the country in a democratic system. But when these things are problematic, then questions are raised always, and The Hindu, if it is reporting against those things, then some serious consequences can be there in the future, and it is pointing to those situations. So that's why for sure these things will criticize the government, but it is about to do the justice with the issue, in which direction the justice is there. If it is going against the government, then there should not be any hesitation. We know that the honest IAS officers, they are frequently transferred. Why? Because they do not comply. So you cannot stay there in a compliance mode. You need to be brave there, and it is the problem in this country because committed people reach up to those places, and that's why all systems, all schemes, all they fail, and corruption prevails. Why? Committed minds are there, compliance is there. We are not here to being committed, we are not here to being in compliance. And if it is something wrong reporting, if it's something wrong, if it's something against an agenda, against an authority, then you should beat that argument with your logic. Do not just write the sweeping arguments there, because it influences those nascent minds who are just starting this preparation. It is not being entitled to something, it is being logical there. beat logic with some other logic, that you think that it is correct. If you think that some things are right in these issues by the government, because government is at the focus. So in my way, I'm not targeting government, I am targeting those moves by the government. So those moves are the problems, but you see that it is against government, so it is your problem. And there are a lot of lessons which are totally committed, and they will not talk on these sensitive issues because they want to save their image, because they know the mood is like that, and majority is supporting in a way, and the social media and the mainstream media is moving in this way, so they all want to save their images. So that's why they will never talk about these controversial issues. But the Hindu is brave that it is talking about those issues, and they are telling you about the real situation, and you can decide about the issue. It is not a final argument. It is you, it is up to you. If you can identify that something is problematic, then it is your final opinion that you have to make there. That is the issue, because it is all the facts in front of you. It is all the steps that are being taken in front of you. You need to decide about your own opinion. I am not here to give my final opinion. I am giving you all the directions, and I am giving you a detailed information about these reporting of the Hindu. I am telling you about the things as a consequences if these things are problematic on the democratic principles, as is told by the Hindu writers. And it's always an integration of multiple lessons there, because all things are not written in a way, it's a limited space. So they want to make you learn in a way that you read between the lines what is trying to be said. If some things are apparently disturbing, as many things are going on, if you think that mob lynching is not a problem and there is a justification available anywhere, then extremely wrong something with your thinking is, because no way these things can be justified, and there cannot be any support with this kind of moves, because today these ministers and all, they will obviously say that these things are fake, these things are misreported, but it is not correct because video evidences are there. But it is the time where they are belying the video evidences also. So that is why this is a very problematic time. It's a very unique time, and that was not there in the past, and that's why this kind of reporting we have seen by the Hindu and Indian Express like newspapers. That's the problem. And you will be reaching up to a position where you will have to do justice, and justice cannot be there where there is no truth. And today is the time where they are belying the truth. Many reports, they may say, they may report in a way, mainstream media may create this ambience that they will deny those proofs which are proving that pressure is there on our bodies, like Election Commission of India, RBI and all. And some issues are really problematic. The way they hit the employment data, the way they hit the some crucial data regarding the Balakot strike and all, they did not accept this thing that the plane was put down there, but after elections they accepted that. The same way they accepted the election the employment data, the same information that was being suppressed there. So some things are really problematic, and it is not against the government, it is against the moves taken by government. And all the moves are not problematic, some moves are really, really great, and I always appreciate those things. But those things are targeted where we criticize these moves. I appreciate many things, like in the way of skilling we have appreciated many things, like in the case of creating an environment in the favor of hygiene and some important targets of solar energy, renewable energy. These are highly appreciable things. Okay, the housing issues, highly appreciable things. So some great things are there, but some things are extremely problematic, like mob lynching. Never in this world anybody can justify this mob lynching, because never it can be justified. So it's a problem of different perception based on different information. That is the case. Today, two kinds of informations are available. One report would say that no, it is correct, and the second report would say no, this is totally not correct. So that's why. And these two perceptions which you have, this may be a difference in my perception, in your perception. Not all of you, but some people. So those perceptions are based on two different facts, and those are totally opposing facts. And that's why this environment is there. That's the issue. And why there is a demand of committed reporting. The way they are inciting this violence on a daily basis cannot we see in the mainstream media, in these channels which were really reputed in earlier times, and they raised many crucial issues, but the way they are provoking people, disturbing them daily, these are real problems. And that's why I will heavily oppose those things, and my intensity would be very high against those people. So that's why if you think that these things are anti-government, then it's a problem, because it is not anti-government. It is against some moves which may bring out hugely negative consequences. And never think in this way that UPSC will demand a committed thinking. Never. They need independent thinking and they need truth. Okay, so be very clear about these things. So in the future, if you think some things are really problematic, then counter them with your logics, not with your sweeping arguments, because they distract many other students who want these lessons. And if the majority would not want, then I will certainly step down from it. Now, the key to success is sacrifice applied everywhere. If you are sitting for 8 hours for study and now you are going to study for 12 hours, then you are making a sacrifice. If you are waking up at 6 o'clock and from tomorrow if you wake up at 4 o'clock, clearly you are making a sacrifice there. So you have to do sacrifice. That is the biggest parameter to evaluate your performance. Pocket News app is trending on Google Play, and download that. These courses are available and the description is given below the video, and you can call on these numbers and you can visit the website also. Chat section is available. PDF you will get here on this group, and the Telegram's link is also given there. You can follow me on Instagram too. These are the words today. And now when we discuss this issue that government is trying to amend the RTI Act, and they are amending some provisions of section 13, 15 and 27, and they say that today it's a situation where CIC is equal to Central Election Commissioner, and we know that Central Election Commission cannot be removed easily, because you need to bring those resolution, and special majority plus absolute majority would be needed to remove CEC. So CIC, when it is parallel to CEC, then it has a lot of security of tenor, but they are trying to make it parallel to election commissioners, simple election commissioners, where election commissioners, they do not have any security of tenor. They can be removed any time by the central government. They can be appointed any time. So that is the case, and they are appointed actually by the president, but suggested by the central government. So now they are changing some service conditions, they are changing some salary issues and all, and they will have a lot of control. And if this control would come with these people, then this would be a committed institution for sure. They made RTI to seek the truth, so that the truth is there with the people. All the information would be there with the people. In the past, we could know about all these huge scams because RTIs were available, informations were seek with this RTI. If now they will put a lot of conditions on many informations, then we will not be able to get those informations, and that is the biggest problem here, because it was the biggest tool with the people. RTI became the biggest tool with the people, and its responsibility became bigger than Election Commission of India, because it is maintaining the issue of accountability, and it is keeping the government in check, because no government would want to give the information, because it reveals a lot of things, and most of the times their moves are problematic. So they do not want to reveal many informations, and the things which they do not want to reveal, they would try to put conditions on, and those informations will not be available with the public. That is for sure, and that's why they are changing these things. And the argument they are giving here, they are saying that the CIC and CSC today are equal, and today if you want to appeal against any CIC's decision, then you can appeal in High Court, but it's a statutory body and it is not a constitutional body, but it is a parallel body to CEC. So if you are appealing in High Court, then not in Supreme Court, then how you can say that it's a parallel to CEC? So that's why we are making these changes. So this bizarre argument is given here, and civil society is raising a lot of questions here in this article. They say that it came almost 14 years ago, and when it came, after some time, all these things, these efforts started. When they wanted to amend these provisions, because no government would want to give information, and it was the same case with the previous governments of Congress and NDA, and they never wanted these things. But the people's campaign and these protests by the civil society groups, they put this pressure, and these amendments that they wanted, they could not become a reality. But now this is a changed environment in this country, and again the issue of being supportive to the government, that has many dimensions. We all want a stable and robust government, but that government, its moves should be transparent. If they want committed institutions, then it's not a honest government. This is the logic. Okay, I'm not saying this is not the situation or this is the situation today, but it's the logic of the democratic principle. So a committed all these institutions, if these are committed to the government, then it's not a transparent system. But this bill is being brought up here, and they are making changes in section 13, 15, 16 and 27, and this is how they can have a major control on the salaries, on the service conditions and terms of these officials. And when they are changing their positions, they will make CIC parallel to EC, not CEC. Existing system, CIC is parallel to CEC, and state information commissioners, they will be parallel to chief secretaries, and chief secretary, we will all know, is the highest administrative officer in the state. He is the most senior IAS officer in the state normally. So that comes under central ruling, and they can never criticize the government's move. They can never say anything against the government. That means any information they won't be able to give if that is criticizing the government. That is the ultimate motive. And now you can analyze that in a democracy this kind of system should be there or not, because RTI system is a ultimate tool for check and balance. Like judiciary, like Supreme Court, they can evaluate any law on the basis of constitutional provisions, and they can decide about this. So it's a check and balance issue. The opposition is a check and balance in the democracy. If opposition is not there, then certainly it's a gone system. It will not be a democracy. Any kind of great government can be there, but it will not be a democracy, because power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. That is the reality. 80 RTI activists are murdered till now. Why? Because they were revealing some things, and that's a clear thing that they have political backing. These murders have political backings. Without that, it cannot be possible, because they were going against whom? They were going against these wrongdoings which are prevailing in the system. So that's why we need this check and balance. We need the protection of these RTI activists and all. We need the protection of RTI officials. We need the protection of these information commissioners and the officials. So that is the reason that this body ultimately it should be autonomous, totally free, because it is giving the information. It has nothing to do with the government's working. It has just to do something with the information that people should have. If this thing is being controlled and its service and condition would be there with the government, then it's a gone case. It will not be serving any purpose, because it will become a committed institution for sure. Because what kind of work it has? It has the work to give the information. If the information would be blocked in many cases, then you can see it will serve no purpose. So why it should be there? That's the ultimate question. And here many questions are there, many revelations are given by these writers. In many issues, we have got crucial informations, like I told you in the 2G scams and all, during demonetization, during some other data. Every day we need some crucial data which are not on a public domain, but we can seek them with the RTI. But if many conditions will be there with the government, so they will put those kind of conditions, they will make those kind of rulings, they will bring those kind of policies which will be very hesitant to give any information. So that's the case. So that's why we can clearly understand the issue, what is going on here, and why consistently again we are observing this kind of issue where some pressure is there on some institution, and they are stripping of them with some powers. and more control with the central government. Everywhere one thing is common: more control with the central government. Means whatever government would decide, they would have to comply. That is the ultimate goal. So it's vital to our democratic checks and balances. If this thing will not be free, then checks and balances will not be there for sure. That's the case. Okay, so never you can say that it is inferior to the Election Commission of India. Maybe it's a statutory body because established by the RTI Act of 2005. It's a statutory body, but it is never inferior to the ECI. And ECI has a different work, it has a different work, and both these responsibilities are crucial for the democratic system. Okay, so everything is written here. You can read all these highlighted points here in the PDF. And insecurity of an autocrat, you can write a mains question on that, and you can write an essay on the issue of institutional autonomy. They may ask you this question because this has become so apparent an issue that pressure is there on the bodies. And again, I'm clearing, this is not against any government, because all governments work in this way. This is no different. But today the media and the ambience which is created like that they are hailing all these moves by the government, that is the problem. So it is this scrutiny is not against the government, it is against the moves by the governments which are very problematic. So that is the way. And questions are always a threat to unaccountable power, and today government is demanding unaccountable power. They say that 75% of the SEBI reserves, give it to us. Maximum reserves or RBI, give it to us. Service conditions and power on the salaries of the RTI activists, give it to us. So everywhere they are demanding unaccountable power. That is not upright, and that is not according to the constitutional provisions, and that is not according to the India that these makers of these constitution imagined in the way. So that's why these questions are there. Next article is regarding the S-400 deal that Turkey has done. We know they have got the delivery in the starting of this month. And S-400 system is by Russia. And what is Russia? Russia is adversary for America. And what they apply there? CAATSA. CAATSA means Countering American Adversaries Through Sanctions Act. Means whoever will deal with adversaries, they will apply CAATSA there. For the Indian situation, there they have also initiated this issue that we will apply CAATSA there, because we have done this deal of S-400 with Russia. We signed it on October 5, 2018, and we will get the deliveries in April 2023. So that's why America is raising many concerns there. Now see about the Trump administration, what it is doing. Apparently, it is provoking Iran, it is provoking North Korea, it is provoking China, it is provoking Russia, and here the case of Turkey. Turkey is the NATO ally. First, we need to know about NATO. Treaty of Dunkirk was there in 1947, and that was done just for a possibility that Germany may take a revenge and Germany may possibly attack these countries. So France and UK, they did this Treaty of Dunkirk in 47. Then this alliance was expanded to include the Benelux countries, the Belgium, Netherlands, these countries, Denmark, these countries. So they became a Western Union. And then North Atlantic Treaty was there, that was signed in 1949. So these were all after World War II. And in North Atlantic Treaty, some countries were added here: US, Canada, Portugal, Italy, Norway, Denmark, and Iceland. And US was the most powerful country among those. So this was NATO, and it was 12 members in the starting. Then today it is now 29 members. Turkey is also a member. So Turkey becomes a natural ally there, a formal ally for America. But for the last 2 years, since Trump came, issues in Syria was there. YPG is a group, and those were Kurds actually, and America supported these groups. They gave them trainings and weapons, and Kurds are a problem for Turkey. So a lot of differences are going on between Turkey administration and Trump administration, and they are going against each other. Turkey says it to America that go from here, it is our region and do not interfere here, do not create menace here. And America says that we have removed ISIS here, and these Kurds are brave fighters. Obviously Kurds are brave fighters, and they have actually fought against these ISIS, and they have wiped out ISIS from some areas, although it is not vanished totally, but they have done great efforts. But they are opposed by Turkey, and that's why many differences are there for a couple of years between Turkey and America. So they are allies, they are NATO allies, but differences are there, and now they have done this S-400 deal. Now America says that we will not give F-35 planes to Turkey. Now Turkey says, do not give it to us. We will take Sukhoi 35 and Sukhoi 57 from Russia. So it will escalate the matter. So now totally against Turkey is going against America. So Iran is provoked, Turkey is provoked, Russia, China, all are provoked, and tariff issues are going on with India also. So everywhere America is provoking countries. What it wants, nobody knows. It looks like a responsible country, a huge country like America, they would never take these kind of steps because they are provoking all the bigger countries. So it looks like Trump administration is totally incapable, and that's why the envoy of UK, they say that he said that Trump administration is inept and hugely incapable, and it looks like that. It's all apparent, and Trump is creating all kinds of disturbances in this world. So that's why this article by Mohammad Ayub says that unilateral thinking of America is creating all these problems. Although we have discussed this unilateralism by America in much detail in the past, so you can watch these lessons. But this is a clear case where America is creating a lot of troubles